So this is a good chance to talk about some cleaner energy sources for Africa, in fact everywhere. Most of us are familiar with renewable energy, things like wind and solar power, and biomass. Okay, so you're probably not too familiar with that. Now this uses plant material and animal waste to create electricity. We're going to go to Frankfurt now and speak to Julien Uhlig. He's the chief executive of a company called ENTRADE, which is making biomass generators, particularly for the African market. Julien, it's nice to have you with us. Biomass generators. What are they? How do they work? And how does your company work with them? Bring it all together for us.
Thank you very much for having me on your show. Yeah, we actually developed a biomass generator that is primarily used in Africa and Asia right now, with the goal to generate on-site electricity from a sustainable biomass. This actually is a project that started over 6 years ago in Africa with a project for the German government in Ethiopia. And the goal was to really provide on-site power, which was not that easy, not using the grid at all. And so what we're doing is leapfrogging the entire infrastructure right now in the power industry to really generate on-site electricity, heating and cooling, pretty much for schools, hospitals, or anyone that has ongoing electricity need.
But why would I choose biomass? You know, if we're using Africa as an example, there's plenty of sun there, there's plenty of wind in other parts of the world, renewable resources are there. Why would I go for biomass? Because if it's animal and agriculture based, I imagine it's going to require a lot of management over time.
The big advantage of biomass is that it's a power source that is actually available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, not just when the sun shines or the wind blows. So whenever you're building microgrids, not using the current infrastructure, you actually always need to have a power source that is available 24/7. So exactly that part can be done by biomass, and then you use solar and wind as an additional electricity source whenever it's available. So it's not an if or, it's actually combining 2 or 3 energy sources into a reliable energy supply.
Is it expensive, Julien? Because I imagine that will be a deciding factor.
We're actually already right now, I think we can provide electricity cheaper to roughly 5 billion people worldwide than they can get from the grid, if there's actually grid power available. Anytime we compare to a diesel generator, we don't have to calculate, we always win.
Okay, can you give me some more examples of the rollout in Africa? We have done plenty of stories on this program about, and we've just done it today, power cuts, rolling power cuts, power grids not having enough reach. In fact, I remember Nigeria being a good example in that case. Tell us about what's happening in Nigeria.
Nigeria really is a special challenge because right now there is pretty much no electricity available to end consumers. So we kind of, we can't even really call it a blackout anymore because about 23 hours a day, there's simply in many areas, including Lagos, no electricity available. So the difference we have with our generators that are very easy to move and very small is that we actually build our own grid. So we can provide 24 hours, 7 days a week power supply without actually using the infrastructure on site. It is a good question, actually, to think about how the power distribution in Africa will develop over the next few years. And we believe that it's better to focus on industrialized areas to build up power grids. And actually, we can do completely decentralize the areas that are currently not serviced by the large infrastructure.
And are you managing to create jobs with it too? I always think that, well, it is the key these days. It's all well and good if new technology comes along, but you've got to create employment for people.
Exactly. I mean, I think that's a huge advantage we have, and that's also why we're being funded by many government agencies right now, is we actually go in as a company, start plantation of trees in especially areas where we already have problems with the erosion. So we're actually building up our own feedstock supply over the next few years, creating jobs on site in farming, in distribution, and actually in running the machines, and therefore creating a maximum number of jobs on site and individually empowering communities, one community at a time. So I think it will actually make a huge difference on site. And right now we are looking to create a few thousand jobs in Nigeria alone, pretty much with one system operator at every site at all times. So this will seriously add up and make a difference to communities.
That is Julien Uhlig with us from Frankfurt talking biomass electricity. Thank you, Julien.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
And that is our show for this week, but there's more for you online at aljazeera.com/CTC. That'll take you straight to our page, which has individual reports, links and entire episodes for you to catch up on. You can also get in touch with us by tweeting either me at Kamal AJE. There is our business editor as well, at Abid Oliver Ali, and don't forget to use the hashtag AJCTC when you tweet us. Or just drop us an email. Counting the Cost at aljazeera.net is the address. But that is it for this edition of Counting the Cost. I'm Kamal Santa Maria from the whole team. Thanks for joining us. The news on Al Jazeera is next.